Glenn Parker, thank you very much for joining me. You are watching Glenn TV and High Vibration Foundation. Thank you very much for joining me. So today I wanted to do a video on crowdfunding. I have been wanting to do one for a while, and I came across some information today that really kind of anchored in the idea that I wanted to convey for the crowdfunding mechanism. Now, I have a production company, and I personally implemented this crowdfunding type of idea in the projects that I'm doing. I have a sci-fi short and I have some documentaries, and I've integrated this idea of community support because basically crowdfunding as a whole, as the nut of an idea, is community and connectedness, where everybody is connected together and like-minded people come together as a community. So let's give a couple examples of crowdfunding campaigns that have happened. Exploding Kittens. What did you just say? Yes, I did say Exploding Kittens. It's a card deck. It's a game that can be played by children and or adults. So it can be played just for fun, or it can be played strategically to try to knock people out. And it was very inexpensive. It was like, buying a card deck or going to a gaming store and getting a card deck. And it was done, by recognized artists, by a collective and a group of people that came together that brought forth this idea. And in the first day, it sold $1 million worth of card decks and pre-sales, basically, because that's what this is they're getting the money to do a production run because they don't have enough money to do it yet. So this is like a pre-sales. Most crowdfunding campaigns are pre-selling an idea, and you're supporting it so that they have the monetary mechanism to bring it into the real world. They were only asking for $10,000 and one, just as a whole, so they could do a run for the card deck. It was basically a minimum run that would be needed. Now, when all was said and done, they did $8 million in card decks. Nothing fancy, not like they weren't $1,000 a piece, just your old standardized card decks. And this is the idea and the mechanism of crowdfunding and community and connectedness. People came along, they used viral mechanisms to share it because they went, well, I have to have that, and they share it on Facebook and they share it on Twitter and all these other mechanisms. And other people go along and go, oh, that's awesome, thank you for sharing that, and I gotta have a couple of those, and then make a great gift, and I'm a kind of a collector of card decks, so I'm gonna have a couple of those for my personal collection, especially the first run. And then the sense of community that you have supported other people that have had a like-minded idea. You wouldn't support that idea unless it was a like-minded idea, unless you liked that idea. As another example, for a movie, Iron Sky and Iron Sky 2, The Coming Race. Comedy, like Nazis in space on the moon, and it was well done, in the context of how they did it. And for the second one, they raised so far like $600-something thousand to get production ready and to hire actors and get all these types of things done. And they offered unique rewards, and this is also part of the community and connectedness, is that you have, let's say, one of the actors in the film, you could go to dinner with that actor and spend an hour with the producers and with the actor and have a dinner hour, an hour and a half, and pay $2,500 and have a special event. And these things are done for crowdfunding campaigns, especially for movies. And you can pre-buy the DVD, you can pre-buy the digital download, you can be in the film, you can be an actor in the film, and they have different types. And you want to be eaten by a dinosaur, that's this much. If you want to be a stormtrooper, it's this much. If you want to buy merchandise, if you want a pair of stormtrooper boots, like after the film is done, we'll ship them to you. If you want to be a producer, like an executive producer, that's $25,000, and then you get these types of reward with that, like maybe being on set or being Skyped into some of the production meetings, or being allowed to be on set for a certain amount of time and meet the actors and see the production process. And people pay these things to be part of that. And then you also get an Internet Movie Database and IMDb credit as executive producer on the film. A lot of people have fetishes for these things. So, another example, I, in my production company, have picked and am in the process of picking actors, A, that I've always loved and that I've always wanted to work with, and B, also enjoy and have been involved in other crowdfunding mechanisms. Now, one, Richard Hatch, has been in Battlestar Galactica, the very first, in the 70s, and the revamped version in more recent years. And he did a sci-fi short film which ended up being a pitch reel. It wasn't in linear continuity. They picked the scenes that they wanted to do and they shot it and they made it specifically and got funded through crowdfunding to do it as a pitch to have it elevated to and be bought out for a standardized motion picture, and he was one of the actors in it. Now, for instance, he has 10,000 Facebook fans as the last time I checked. You get someone like this involved, and then part of his community, he is going to post the crowdfunding campaign to his 10,000 people. Walter Koenig was also one of these ones that were in there as well, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, obviously he's going to post it to his newsletters and his community, and those people are going to share it. Now, they raised around $100,000, and it was called Engines and Cowboys, or Cowboys and Engines. It was, you know, one of those two. I watched it. It was good. It was a great elevator pitch. Kind of long, in my opinion. I think it should have been more like 20 minutes. It was more in the 30 something minutes. The last like solid definition that I saw of a short to submit to film festivals was like 40 minutes or lower. So they were under that, but not by much. I think you can really convey your message in like a 20-minute pitch. In any case, it was fantastic. It was done really well, and it really does represent this idea of community and connectedness. Those people, anyone who saw this, and this was Kickstarter, I think it was funded on. If I remember right, I've looked at so many, it's just crazy. It was Kickstarter that it was done on, if I'm not mistaken. And you can, if you type in Cowboys and Engines in Google, you'll find it. So in any case, I've adopted that model to my production company. So for, you know, you can buy a couple different things. You can buy lifetime producer credits, and the idea is, let's say you want to be associate producer, and that's $25,000, and you can be on every project for the lifetime of the company. So everything that hasn't been done and solidified on the Internet Movie Database, if that level of credit, and there's only one for each one, on up to executive producer for $150,000, you get to participate in all of my ideas from here to the end of time and be stamped on it. Now, let's say we do this pitch reel, which is basically what this short film is going to be, this little sci-fi short comedy, and it does get picked up by a major studio. Then, if at all humanly possible, that would translate as a film credit, not executive producer, but it translate over into the film as well. So that would be part of the negotiation process. So this is the idea of connectedness and community. You see an idea and you're like, wow, I like your ideas. I want to participate in those. And I've had conversations for associate producers. And in the process of having conversations for people to be in different levels of this idea. And that's not why I'm making this video. I'm just making this video because I'm really inspired to convey the idea of what crowdfunding actually is and the mechanisms and why people participate in it. It is this curious thing that you see something in an idea that you're inspired by and you want to support those people, and you're coming together as a community and you are seeing that come to fruition, and you see fruition, and you have I supported, what was the name? It was by Leonard Nimoy, not Leonard Nimoy. It was by Eric Nimoy's son, and it was something Spock and he needed like a sizable amount of money to do a documentary on his father, and most of the images that he wanted to use were owned by Paramount, and you know, during times that his father was doing different productions, and to license it into distribution as a documentary was extraordinarily expensive to license out these types of images. He needed, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars to accomplish this. And he raised it was over $500,000, and you get to see the updates for that. I'm looking that up because it pesters me that I don't remember his name. or I don't remember the name of the documentary. So, anyway, in any case, I get highlights and updates on that documentary. Basically, that says, here's what's going on, and we're in post-production, and we've done this and we've done that, and so you're getting even more of a sense of community and participation in the project, and that's basically what I wanted to share. So that is a summary. There are so many other examples I can give you of crowdfunding campaigns that have been successful. Other card decks, like people who make actual card decks, like you would play poker and canasta and whatever else with like standard cards, but they actually license ideas. Like one was Princess Bride, and they did special characters for that, and little pogs and different types of like progressive, like if we get to this particular level, other rewards kick in for everybody, and they raised over $100,000, and they just crank out card decks and get them and drop ship them and get them out there. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you very much for joining me. It is again Glenn Parker, High Vibration Foundation. You are watching Glenn TV. Down below in the description, there are tons of things going on. Please find the link that speaks to your heart and not to your head, and you'll find the information that you wanted in this lifetime. And if you do like this video, please do like, subscribe, and share. Also comment. I'd love to hear anyone who has supported a crowdfunding campaign and their experiences and any suggestions you might have.